Hey there, humans. Just getting outside after a long night in the ER last night. I had some more heart issues, SVT, and got out of the ER early this morning, around 7:30 or so. Came home, went to bed, but it just got me thinking about the importance of seeking out good people. I'm outside in nature right now. That's another great form of medicine, but having meaningful conversations, there's a lot of power in that. Last night, the EMT that came, had a really great conversation with him. Told me about some of the best stories he had of saving some people's lives after I asked him, because I was scared and wanted someone to talk to. Told me about how his partner for many years in his role, her husband got COVID, and she got COVID really bad, turned into long COVID, and just like me, she ended up disabled and no longer is working as an EMT. So I had a really good conversation right out of the gate with the EMT. The captain from my local volunteer fire department who got here before the EMTs was also great. And when you're in a situation where you need comfort, it's great to have someone that gives you that through conversation, where sometimes you feel adversity through trying to speak to people in the way that they treat you. I got to the hospital and I was in and out of the back of the ER. Very busy night at the hospital. Lots of people really sick. Lots of very bad noises, both coughs and heaving, vomiting in the waiting room. But I had my mask on. I'm immunocompromised. I was not going to be sitting there in that circumstance. So I went out into the area just between the outside and the inside. There's a little corridor with fresh air, and at most there was one other person in there with me. And at the end of the night, from about, say, 1:30 to 3:30, a nice woman named Brenda, she's an older woman, and she was waiting on a ride to get back to her house after showing up at the ER for signs of stroke. And Brenda and I talked for almost 2 hours about the state of the economy and politics, Social Security, disability. We talked about, she was from West Virginia, talked about nature. I'm out here in nature, just trying to, right now I'm walking barefoot, trying to get some grounding because I still don't feel all that great, obviously. But we talked about nature, we talked about birds, we talked about how she had recently seen storks and was really getting into birding. Talked about some of the birds, the great birds that I see here at my house, tufted titmouses and indigo buntings that bring me happiness. But it was really cool. One of the things that I thought was really nice was I'm middle-aged, young white guy, seemingly look like I'm not in that bad health. And she was in her early 70s, older black woman. And everyone who came in and all the nurses, just, you could tell that we brought a smile to their face. So that helped. Helped me, helped Brenda. I could tell there are a lot of nurses working really long shifts, just exhausted, dealing with people that aren't that nice. And just us having a great conversation and people listening to us, it brought them happiness. Made their job a little easier. If anyone who's watching this has long COVID or ME/CFS, Lyme, any of the numerous chronic illnesses that are out there, and many people have been dealing with theirs for decades. I'm relatively new. It's been over a year and it feels like a lifetime. But I'm obviously really emotional because to have been 40 at the beginning of the pandemic, and now about to be 45 in a little over a month, and I was in great health, but now I'm in worse health, and many of the parents of friends of mine, you know, my parents, in-laws, and it's terrifying, and it's very emotional. So things like last night, it's the third time I've been in the ER in like 45 days. But the last conversation I want to tell you about, just again, getting back to good conversations being something that can help you through difficult times. And I'll also add that I'm home by myself right now. My wife and children are on a trip to visit my wife's cousin. I was planning on going a while back, and with my health deteriorating, decided that flying, you know, and being on this trip would not be good for me. So they masked, they brought purifiers on the flight. They've got purifiers where they're staying, and you know, being very cautious, obviously. But I dropped them off yesterday morning, and I ended up in the ER and coming back early this morning by myself, which adds another layer of fear. When you think you're dying and your heart is spiking incredibly high and your mouth is dry and your pupils dilated and you're lightheaded and you can't tell if you're about to collapse, your heart's racing, dizzy. It was really scary. So those conversations I've shared already were great. And then the last one, to kind of just sandwich my entire experience, a guy named Michael, who was my Uber driver on the way home. And we talked about why he was driving and him helping out his kids, what I wanted to be able to do to help my kids, and what I am doing now. You know, I think every parent wants to do better for their children than they had. So we were talking about that. We were talking about how today he was going to take his grandkids out to a local petting zoo farm in Ellicott City. And just at the beginning of my experience, in the middle, when I'd been in the ER for hours and hours and was really anxious from all the really sick people around me and felt terrible, was waiting on x-ray results and blood work, you know, Brenda kept me calm, brought, you know, a sense of peace to that part of the evening. And then coming home to an empty house after all that conversation with Michael, you know, it's just really meaningful. I think oftentimes in society these days, you don't want to talk to strangers. You're busy. Everyone's so busy. Just work, work, work. Half the reason we're in this mess is because of business. And I get it. You know, business needs to succeed. I actually used to have a business I co-founded that I had to step away from because of this, and that was one of the hardest decisions in my life. You know, but it's people over profit. So you've got business and everyone working so hard, killing themselves, and not paying attention to their family, their friends. I've just gotten away from that. The other reason, obviously, is government, and those two go hand in hand, making it really difficult for us to live better lives. But with all that being said, take the time to talk to those people around you, those that want to talk to you. It's great getting to know other people. I can tell you that each of those people I spoke with, they shared a lot of empathy with me. They shared a lot of prayer for me, and a lot of smiles. They made me feel better, and it felt nice knowing that I brought something to their evening, morning. So it's kind of long-winded thought, just out here trying to get myself together today, really just rest, regain myself, just being out here in nature with the birds, walking barefoot, doing a whole lot of nothing today, just trying to recoup from last night. So I wanted to share that. It's nothing groundbreaking, but something I thought needed to be shared. So I'll leave you with this. One, thanks for listening to my rant. Feels really good talking to people, strangers particularly. It's like free therapy. And even just right now, I'm talking to this phone. Helps me feel better. So if you take anything from this, again, shouldn't be news to anyone, just a gentle and heartfelt reminder. When you're struggling, especially if you're alone, look around you. Look for other people struggling. Look for people that want to engage in a conversation with you. Get to know them. Let them get to know you. I think that really brings us just back to our humanity, and something that we're in desperate need of. So thanks again for watching. And, I'm going to try to feel better today. Hope you all have a great day. Thanks.